All right, welcome, and I say welcome back for another brand new video. And today's video, my name is, of course, my name is Yosemite Sam, a smart-ass cowboy speaking. Anyways, today's video here, we're going to be talking right on here is about me talking about Total Drama's Revenge of the Islands Season four's characters, and then slash cast, which I'm actually going to say about its characters. So, at this very point that no, this won't be a reaction, and just want to let you guys know, that's not going to happen, because you guys know why I'm just about that's going to happen. Just because the reason why I'm going to say that what I'm going to have to say here is that, listen, at this point, no, I'm going to say no means no, because I'm not going to react to Toll Drama's Season 4 episodes, because due to the fact that, well, YouTube's literally just going to cut it off, because if that were ever to happen again, because no, I'm not going to do it, because that's going to be a big no, and I prefer not to take the risk. So I'm just only going to talk about its characters. That's it. And then no, as in for the rest of the no, actually means that I'm not going to react to all of its seasons, like five, and then spin at five, and then six, and then the whatever of the another spinoff, like two spinoffs, and then another one I'm not going to be mentioning about because yada yada yada, because I'm not going to be speaking about most of that. So just want to let you guys know I'm only going to be talking about its season four's cast, only number four. That's only going to be that, and that will be it, and that will be understandable. So just remember, is just understand is that I'm not going to react to its seasons. Not going to happen, because we know that I'm saying it's not going to happen. So I know that people said that they were interested for that, but I'm just saying no, because due to YouTube's talk exactly, since I already did know that I looked on like last time, because just want to let you guys know for the record, the camera was just crappy, because the audio was snapping too much, because it was being distorted a lot of times, because stupid crap, because that's all I'm just talking about, because it just didn't go that well. So it just really didn't go well. So just want to let you guys know I'm only going to talk about its season four's cast, and that will probably be all. So let's get right on to our first one exactly. So our first one that we're going to get to very soon. And then as inferred that is that yes, Chris and Chef are also in season four. So yes, that actually still includes that answer. And plus, the only thing I'm actually saying, by the way, is that Chris was on like a few other times and yada yada yada. Like, let's just say that he was on like four, five, six, and then not spin off, like two spin offs. He used to be in the second spin off, before there was going to like literally be something else, because I'm not going to like mention like anything to what is an alternative, like downgrades or upgrades, which I'm not going to be talking about that. And then as in for like about like some reversal voice actually was turned out something that didn't go with that that kind of laugh, whatever he just does with whatever Chris's laugh does. That's just pretty much differently in a something, because I'm not wanting to mention its names. So yeah, that's just no thank you. Now, let's get into our first contestant, like first all the way to 13. So let's get to number one. So here we have number one of the first contestant on season four of Toll Drama's Revenge of the Island. First contestant character that is already here. So let's get into number one. So for what we have here of the first contestant, by the way, what we have right now is Stacy. So, as in for that character, that I just want to also FYI about the character is that, well, she on the other hand, actually I just want to talk about that character is that, well, the character reminds me of Ezekiel. Reminds me of a character that name is Zeke. Like from 1, 2, and 3 that I've reacted to, which I've already did. So again, at this very point, that she reminds me of Zeke. Not in all of it going say was, hey yo ho Holmes. Like, I'm not talking about that guy. I'm just not talking about like what kind of reaction that was. Like I was talking about saying is she literally reminds me of Zeke, which, not in a funky way of a home class, so exactly like some kind of whatever that he lived at somewhere, like from whatever place that he was from. But basically, gotta say about the character that is Stacy right now is that, well, she's not that half bad as a character, I would say. But even if she was pretty cool or and all, but I'm just saying is that the character is kind of annoying, because one of the reasons why she was just annoying is that she's just like the new Zeke. Like, she's the new Ezekiel. Like, I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna have to understand about that, but it kind of didn't got me brain damaged on that question by me saying is how she was a good of a character, but she kind of actually deserves going home exactly at that point. She kind of deserves to be out, because the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm just saying is that she always sometimes just continues on talking and talking about like an endless talk of her saying was grandpa, 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 or whatever that she was talking about, like for her ancestors or thing, which I don't mind about ancestors and stuff, which I don't mind about that. All I'm saying is that she literally kept still speaking that like nonstop, and like the very first episode that she still talked on that exactly for like how many hours that was, I don't know, so many hours, like literally many hours, like every other time, like many hours. So I just have to say that I had nothing else to speak about that character that's named Stacy, and season four's season. That's all I just had to say. But still, that's all I just had to say. But anyway, that's just all I had to say. So here we have our next second contestant. So I'm gonna get into the second character's contestant and see what happens. But let me see what I can take a look here. So let's see what happens. All right, so our next second contestant and character that we have is the contestant exactly that is named Zoe. Well, Zoe, huh? Hmm. A red person, a red girl that actually has red hair. For once, I'd say that I'm actually liking the color red, because the reason why I like red was because red was my favorite color. So, as I was going to say right now, is that Zoe, huh? Well, Zoe. Alright, well, I'm going to probably speak on that character just right now. So, about the character, well, it's not that bad of a character, but I'm going to have to say that she's not bad as a character, though. But I mean, Zoe. Hmm, wow, and also, man, the only thing that actually reminds me, that Zoe actually reminds me, is Courtney. Like, bruh. I mean, the pants. Okay, so let me say the reason why about that is that, well, Zoe reminds me of a character from pretty much like 3 seasons, actually, that's named Courtney, but also Zoe is thick. Just wanted to let you guys know. I'm just saying that it's a different answer by me saying is that what my reaction is to that. By me talking about saying is like, if I'm kind of saying is that most I like saying is pretty cool or pretty awesome, or saying the word thick, because thick, thick. I'm just saying is that, yeah, because sometimes I'm the dude. Sometimes I get to like say is, oh yeah. I'm just trying to say is, oh yeah, because that's just like saying is thumbs freaking up for 10-10, Big 10. So the reason why I'm saying that, why I say I like Zoe, is because, well, the character, she reminds me of Courtney, but I mean, she's kind of pretty thick, just like as Courtney, but different, but just with a different example, but me just talking about that. So the reason why I'm saying is that why Zoe is pretty cool and all, I gotta say that Zoe was an alright of a character. Well, she was pretty cool. And I mean, not gonna lie, but most likely that she's pretty good. I mean, most likely pretty good. That she always does pretty well, good job on most of the episodes that she does, considering in Revenge of season 4, which she wasn't bad as a character, but she's pretty cool. And also then as in for season 5's, well, Zoe's character wasn't bad in season 5. I mean, I don't mind about the Duncan X Zoe thing. I don't mind about that, like Duncan X Zoe, which, trust me, I'm still a fan of Duncan to this very day. Even then and then now, I'm still a fan of Duncan. Still. Of season 1 through 3. And then again, pretty much the ultimate return that was from 5, which I never liked season 5, because season 5 just could die in the hellhole, because it sucks as a season, because I just never liked the season. It was just garbage. So, as in from Zoe, yes, I like the character and she's pretty good. And then, as in from most likely everything that she likes Mike, which I mean, again, she likes Mike, and I have to say, from most likely, that Zoe, she's pretty nice. And I'd say that she's not half bad as a character, but I think I prefer more of Duncan X Zoe, which I'd say that's not half bad. I'm just saying is that I mean, hey, what's the more to the merrier? After all, that there's like pretty much a way that I've always like say is that my boy Duncan always get the babes exactly like serious. I like Duncan, and that's how I like the character. Like just getting Courtney and Gwen, like yeah, like that's a big train. Like woo woo, like that would be a train right there. I'm joking. Just joking. Just wanted to let you guys know. Just don't take it seriously. I'm just saying it's a funny way of me saying it's a joke. So yeah, Zoe would be my number three. That she would absolutely be in another train, along with me, Courtney and Gwen. Like, oh yeah, definitely on that train. So anyway, gotta say, Zoe of her her looks and everything isn't that bad, and I mean not bad as I would consent, but by any reason, but she's not bad. So as without that being said, also by the way, another thing I would also want to say that she was also into her own soldier way. Yeah, pretty much that she's a commando. Exactly that she was also a commando after the whole thing. Exactly that went down with her and Mike. Exactly. I mean, I don't know what the whole lore of the story with that was going to be down there, but just with Zoe and her only other self exactly that she was also a soldier, which I don't know what she was even doing exactly. I mean, her that vision of herself exactly after when she just trying to make Scott's life as a hell as a way as it is, which I don't know why, but it was kind of funny as heck. So anyway, that's all I had to say. That Zoe is a yes, which I'd say 10-10. Of her character. I mean, I just like her looks and everything, and I just like her thickness exactly. I'm just talking about that. What I'm talking about. I'm just saying that she looks like another version of Courtney, but just talking about the pants. That I'm just talking about. That's just kind of it. So next character we have is for the third contestant we'll be talking about is number three. So here's number three. And then, as in for our next character, by the way, is that, well, speaking of a character named Scott, well, we're just right on to him with number three. So, our next third contestant is Scott. So, the reason why I'm going to say Scott, okay, so Scott right now, I have to say that Scott wasn't that bad in season four. I mean, I keep season four's Scott to that. I'd say there, thank you. But to season five's Scott, no thanks. I'd say nah, get that out of here. Like saying is, get that out of here, dude. Like, get that out of here. Like, I'm just talking about like there's like a meme by saying that, like, say is, by smacking that ball down by saying is, yo, get that out of here. Like, that's what I'm gonna say right there. Like, season five Scott can get out of here. Like, no, get out of here. You're done. Just screw off. Go out. So anyway, the reason why I'm going to say season four's Scott is better because I'm just saying that Scott of season four. I think season four Scott was actually not that bad into that. Like he's more of a farmer boy that I'm gonna have to consider that. Scott was more of like a tricky guy, like a trickster guy, like always invents traps. He always has a few out of his brothers in his entire life. He had him out of his brothers, and then of course that he had to go on with his grandpa or with his grandpa for so much for what he was doing for his grandpa for whatever by any reason. So again, I have to say Scott always invents a lot amount of traps because best to say that he always adds a lot of traps, even though he's a stronger player that he always tries to like always take out every character in the ring. Which I mean, I don't like Scott in season five, but season four Scott was pretty bit decent. I'd say I give him as a decent character as he is, as a decent character, but not into the way of my favorite type of Scott that I'm saying that he was like supposed to be another version of like a person that would always like do the exact different advantage as me exactly, just like saying as my boy Duncan, just like that last time, in season one, but four exactly. But I'm just saying that Scott's character was fine. I don't blame anything about Scott's character. He was pretty alright in most likely everything else, but that was pretty fine. So all I had to say was the best rivalry I had to say was Scott versus Mike and then Cameron. Like, oh yes. Like seriously. Scott, you just hope to take them out. Like, yes, I mean, I'm just saying that Scott was more of a better competitor. Like, I like Scott as a better competitor in season four's competitor and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I love the way how Scott made it all the way so far and beating each other people in the ring every other time. Like, I seriously actually like the doubt of him doing pretty well in season four. So that's all I had to say about that. In my reason of saying is why Scott was a pretty bit of a good character and all. So that's all I had to say. Anyway, so let's get into our next contestant. So here it is. Next contestant. All right, number four. Contestant number four, Sam. That is a gamer. So, as in for that character that is named Sam of the character, is that, well, let me get you guys to a few amount of explanations about the character that's named Sam. So, as in for Sam, well, I was pretty surprised that I don't actually have to say that Sam wasn't bad as a character, but I'm really going to say that Sam was actually the amount of a great character I ever seen. Into season four's dynamic and then all of other of its episodes. I gotta be very clearly honest that Sam was actually the greatest character I've ever seen. I pretty much would say that season four's character that's named Sam was actually pretty good, and I have to say that even if he was a gamer, like doing all of that, by the way, bro, what a good gamer. Like, he's a good gamer, which I don't blame the guy that he's professionally a great gamer. Like, yo, I mean, Sam of that character, all right. Well, have to at least respect a gamer that actually does pretty well by doing button mashing or anything of his controllers while he's playing a game. Even if he was in to season four exactly while he was in there, not bad. Like, not bad as a character that he does pretty awesomely. Like, not bad as he does. And then, well, he actually did have a crush, by the way, that was named Dakota, pretty much as a movie star. But I'm going to say that, pretty much Sam. Oh yeah, well, pretty based. I mean, he's pretty based as a gamer. Like, he's actually based as a gamer that he plays the controllers with his thumbs, and then all does like anything else that he does. Like, pretty much like life's always like a good video game. Like, oh yeah, I have to say he's not bad in most other concerning ways. But as like I said, I still say that even though that it's the same voice that plays Harold exactly, but I'm going to say that Sam is more better than Harold, so I'm going to say Sam over than Harold, so I got to say that's the only answer of that character. So, I have to say that Sam wasn't bad, but he was pretty cool and had, like, done really most of the great things. But except in season five's Sam, no. That was not of a good character. I mean, sure, it was pretty funny and all. I mean, it was funny of a character and all, but it was already his time to go, which I had no sense of any reason. Like, why not keep him into the middle episodes? Like, why not keep him in the middle episodes? Which I really am very shockingly disappointed for that absolute reason. I'm just saying that Sam could have been selected into a middle episode into its middles, not beginnings. Which, I mean, the beginnings was pretty bit bad, and that's all that example. It was kind of a bit bad, but it could have been really bit differently in a different way else. So that's all I can say for that. And then yeah, so I have to say for what I have to say from 1 out of 10 from Sam. Well, I'm gonna give Sam like another benefit of a doubt that I might have to say is 8 out of 10 because I'm saying that he isn't bad as a character. So I'm just gonna give him 8 out of 10 because why not? Like, why not give him another perspective way of giving me another hint of me saying 8 out of 10? So clearly gets my vote by me saying 8 out of 10. So 8 out of 10. So next number be number five of the next number five contestant. So here's the next contestant that would be number five right now. So let me get to that of number five. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Number five right now. All right. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, here we have is number five. So here's the next character of number five of the number five's contestants. So here's number five. So number five we have is Mike. Well, the guy that has many multiple personality disorders. Well, here we are. So the reason about Mike. Okay, so Mike is kind of an okay character, but I would preferably give him as 5 out of 10. So now, why did I say 5 out of 10 from Mike exactly in the season of four, but five? 5 is just still a no because I've still said like every time it's always been bad. So 5 has been a no. And then as in for 4 has been kind of a maybe yes for as in for that character's potential of Mike. So I heard that he has a lot of personality disorders, that, he has a true person that he likes that is Zoe. So the only reason why I have to say about Mike is that, well, he was kind of a different character that he was exactly, but the personality disorder thing exactly with Mike, however, it turns out with him exactly that he had like was one, two, three, four, and five. He had five personality disorders. Like he literally has five. Like five? No way that he had five. Like I mean, that's impressive for the way that there's five. So five, huh? Five. So the only thing I'm going to start from, like, however, that Mike turned out to do is that, well, he's kind of like a 5 out of 10, which I'm going to give him 5 out of 10 since, hey, I mean, there's a joke into it, like, says, why is Mike 5? Well, it's just Mike's personality disorders that it was 5, and then me saying 5 out of 10. So 5 out of 10 would be fine. So yeah, again, so I'm going to talk about Mike's other first personality disorder was Chester. So Chester as an old man. So the only funny part was about saying was Chester. Well, I don't know. Chester was a different person. That he also was a different personality. The same guy that was also Mike. Like Chester was saying was, "Oh, you darn kids!" Like he was doing that kind of the ability thing, like in that impression. Like he was kind of like speaking like an old man impression about saying like Chester speaks like an old man impression, like saying was, whenever he bumps into something like a rock or a stick or anything else, he speaks like an old man. Like he reminds me of speaking as an old man. Like I mean it's been the same thing to tell time and time again about saying that for that reason because, that's just all I have to say about that. Next, I'm going to say is Vito. Vito, huh? Well, still remains of Mike's personality disorder, still remains the exact same thing, so now, about Vito, he was more of a strong guy, exactly that he always get the ladies, because Vito always like saying was, "Hey yo, what's going on, man?" Like saying was, "Hey, can we at least get some privacy?" Or whenever he always talks like that. I mean, I don't know why he sometimes just talked like that. And also, bro, I don't know what he even looked like. I mean, bro, okay, at least he had a necklace for like having like a gold tooth. Like I don't know what kind of gold tooth that was, but the gold tooth was just something different around his neck. Like it was supposed to be like a necklace. So about Vito, bro, I don't know what's funnier by me saying, by the way, whoever how he gets the ladies exactly. I mean, whenever he hears the word and Maria, bro, I mean, okay, well, isn't something else new every day? By me saying is, oh yeah, Vito X and Maria. Hmm. All right, fair is fair. I mean, fair is fair is a fair game. Like saying is GG. That's a fair game. So I guess I have to say that Vito would probably be interested by saying is that he pretty much prefers picking either and Maria or Zoe. Which I mean, that's fine and all, but I mean that could be their rivalry. That's I'm gonna not go blabbering on by me speaking of that. So again, I have to say, Vino and Maria both are a pair, so I'd say that they're both a pair, but the only next pair that was pretty much considered that was Mike and Zoe, so that's pretty much it. And then the next personality is Stantlana, or pretty much whatever is Stantlana. Which, okay, so as in for that next personality that Mike always does, is that the only impression that he does was always get her into the whole thing of things, exactly. That she's like a gymnastics person, I think, that tries to like dodges anything, or just tries to have like a different use into the team of itself, exactly like of its teamwork and then of its impression, which I really don't know about any of that impressions about like that. So the next character is Matoba, by the way, is also supposed to be an Australian accent, by the way, is Matoba. Well, let's just say that he was always like a guy that always came from Australia, that always like does an Australian accent. Like he always has like a rope for anything and just does like always an interesting way that he just did in Scott that did at Scott, by the way. But I'm gonna say it was kind of bit at least something else, but that's all. I just had to say that. So, next last impression I'm gonna have to say is that what's the next one? I think the next impression would probably be is Mal. Mal. Okay, Mal. So about the reason about Mal is that, well, let's just say that Mal has been from Juvie, and oh, trust me, I don't like Mal. I mean, speaking to the part of why that Mal sucked in 4 and 5, well, he was defeated by Mike, and then he was kind of defeated by Zoe afterwards, in season 5, that I have to consider like there were both endings into that, so again, I'm not going to spoil or anything else. I'm just saying that Mao had kind of actually potentially kind of sucked it around 4, but in 5, oh no, I did not like that time. I seriously haven't. Like, I mean, literally, I just didn't like Mao. Because seriously, the most sometimes amount of other villains I'm going to have to dislike sometimes, as most likely anything else. Like, I'm not disliking Duncan, like I'm saying is that, oh yeah, my boy Duncan is my favorite character, and he always will be my favorite character, always. So as in like I'm gonna say for now that I never liked Mao because he's just like another version of Mike. Most of them are versions of Mike's. By saying many characters of him. So that's just it. Next, anyways, let's get into the next one, of course. That's going to be number 6. So, as in for the next number 6 contestant is number 6. So, with that being said, let's get into number 6 and see what we have to say for number 6. All right, everyone. Number 6. We have is number 6 of the next contestant is Lightning. All right, so Lightning, huh? Well, Lightning. All right, so I'm gonna say that Lightning isn't bad as a character, but I will probably just say is that for Lightning, oh, I'm gonna give him just like an 8 out of 10, just for me saying that Lightning's pretty bit of a strong character. I mean, I'm not saying that most characters deserve to get a 10 or anything else, but I'm just saying that most of them would rather get like his a decent number that would stick to middle, stick to almost near top, or stick down near bottom. So I'm saying that for like Lightning. Oh yeah, Lightning, my brother. I have to say Lightning deserves to win season 4 because I deserve to say that Lightning deserves winning season 4, even though that he doesn't know about anything of a girl. Which oh yeah, that kind of surprised me after when Lightning just saw Joe getting booted exactly. I'm just talking about like saying his J-O exactly, not with an E. I'm just saying is J-O. Now, I'm just saying is that for right now, is that Lightning, oh, he was a good character. I mean, he wasn't that bad before he was going to like saying is the show whatever or whatever that he makes exactly, but he wasn't kind of at least annoying than Stacy. I mean, Lightning could be at least pretty bit better than Stacy at least. I mean, Lightning was just like a good formidable character as like a football jockey, like always like rams out of here or rams out of people in the game, like, like tackling like football. Like, okay, Lightning at least kind of surprised me a bit. He kind of surprised me. As I have to say that Lightning was pretty close for actually entering into the final 4 and 2, which I have to say Lightning deserves winning season 4 because why not? I mean, Lightning, my guy, I mean, he still wins pretty much like season 4, but even if he didn't actually win, like pretty much I'd say that that's fine. I'd just be okay with however Lightning already won. So yeah, that's all I have to say. And then, as in for that, yes, Lightning wins over than Cameron because Lightning is just a better character. Because I'm sorry to say it, but Lightning is just a better character. That I'm actually just saying that Lightning's better. And then as in for season five's Lightning, no, I did not like season five's Lightning because he just was kind of continuing to be a bit more of annoying as he goes on and pitcherating almost every other number, like every number for whatever he ended up exactly before he got booted from almost nearly the beginnings episodes that he was already begin to be eliminated at this point. So again, I was quite surprised that Lightning was the only person to be out. So clearly or not, that Lightning was quite actually pretty bit good, but it was his time to go if he was ever booted off the number five's panel. So gotta say that Lightning played a good game in 4. So I'd rather take 4 anyway. By Lightning, pretty bit of a good character. So that's just my own thoughts. Anyway, next character, I'm going to talk about the next contestant, so why not? So, next contestant, let's get to that. Alright, so anyway, our next contestant from number 7 is we have is Joe. J-O. So anyway, as for what we have next, by the way, is the next character we're gonna have is J.O. Pretty much it's a girl's name, so I don't know. So anyway, let's get on with that anyway. If people may get confused or won't get confused, pretty much between with an O and an E that starts with J.O. Yeah, so pretty much. So anyways, so as from her character, I would probably would say that she's been training a bit more like the Olympics, or if something that's what I heard from. Well, she's more a different version like Eva. A little bit like that, but not as similar as I would say that. I mean, she wears like the long pants or something. She wears like the long pants and pretty much supposed to like act like a tomboy or something, which I don't clearly don't know, but again, it's a little bit different. I find like some stuff there might be interesting to me or find something a bit new or something I haven't heard of. So, as for what she does exactly, she actually just like I don't know, practice some stuff or something like that, or just does whatever. And considering the fact that she's actually just like likes, brick and lightning, she kind of likes the two gentlemen. That one is like from a military, and then the one that's like a football player. So I think that's what she considers like doing most likely. I mean, she pretty much doesn't consider like hanging out with most some people, but she turns out to be pretty bit of a good, decent villain. I mean, again, pretty much considering like the best villain I ever seen of all time. So I kind of give her like 9 out of 10, since she was more of 10-ish exactly. Since I'd say she'd be fine on her own character. That was Joe exactly. That she did pretty well and a great job too. But like doing pretty well exactly with the rivalry that has been going on with her and then with Brick or something like that. That's pretty much considered to be another contestant character that I'll be speaking about on the 13th contestant that it might be him. So yeah. Anyway, so about that, I have to say that well, she does pretty good in once in a while, and most consider in other episodes that she's been doing pretty good. Actually, she's been doing pretty good, and then consider looking through most of the we looked at episodes from pretty much like whatever exactly like I can't tell like what episodes that those are going to be, but I don't always don't spoil it anything because I'm only just talking about what actually happened. Of saying is what was the best characters, and then that's what I might explain. So I think I have to give Joe a bit of good talent on her part. She did pretty good on her own talent. That she did pretty well. Like actually, just try to like consider by him. I mean, consider by her. Sorry, which I may have mistaken saying the subtitle part. I was mistakenly saying was that she, on the other hand, was actually gonna have to either vote for deciding that whoever wanted to be voted out on was either Brick or Lightning, and it did came to say that Brick was the only one who was out because the one about like pissing in his own pants because that scares him a lot. In a different medful way or something else by me saying is that something to be scared of or something that I might have to figure that out, which more likely, I don't know if that ever came to the decision with her by choosing two gentlemen that she was picking either with Brick or Lightning, since that's a good question. I mean, my money's on Lightning because I know that she was going to pick Lightning because, I don't see Lightning as a threat to me exactly. I mean, I don't see him as a threat to anything or whatever. But like I said, I don't kind of trust most characters if something else were to be against my boy Duncan for what reason. But it's just only my part of my own saying of saying something of saying so. But clearly or not, I do say that well, that Joe actually started to be a pretty bit of a good villain. That whenever she just does her own part by actually like helping her own team win in season 4, not season 5's Joe, which I mean, she was quite fine after when she met with Duncan before, I mean, in the 5th season, which it kind of went fine, but I didn't really expect it. However, it became go down with her and Heather, which, oh, trust me, Heather just could suck. Heather could just suck. Which I really don't care about her, right? I mean, seriously, most characters I say I don't like, and most characters I'd say mid, and since some of them that might be pretty well. So all I'm just saying is I just don't like Heather because Heather's just like just get her out of here. I mean, Heather's just done enough damage for any reason for whatsoever because who cares? Seriously, by anything by any reason, it just doesn't matter. So all I gotta say is that, well, Joe actually started to be a great villain in season 4, but when fifth season came around, I gotta say that she was still pretty better. And for what reason? But I don't know. I mean, I'm just really guessing along the way. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about it in its season 4, but technically there was something that I figured I would agree to Joe exactly, just to agree with her at this time, since Heather was already just like the worst person to still be dealt with. But seriously, still. Anyway, so let's get into our next contestant, shall we? Or should I say, this will be the next 8th contestant on pretty much with season 4's Revenge of the Island. So let's get into the next one, shall we? Alright, so our next contestant is number 8. We have is Dawn. So I actually do want to say something, by the way, that clearly that her name is Dawn. So yeah, that's her name with Dawn. So as in for that, by the way, is that if most people were actually confused by me saying the word Dawn, or pretty much with Don, which I'm not saying that if I was ever to afford saying that name, which I was trying to say Dawn, that's fine. I'm still saying that name. So, as in for her, by the way, I actually have to say that she was pretty okay. I mean, I gotta say that I love the shipping with her and Scott. I mean, oh yeah, I can see those, and I can see those eyes right in their faces for each other. Which I mean, oh yes, I mean for Scott, he already knows about animals, and so does Don. I mean, they're perfect for each other. Seriously, I prefer picking that ship, which would have been Scott and Don, which I would really respect Scott more. You know, I'd actually would gain Scott's trust for him to go for Don exactly, which I mean I'd be appreciated to that. I mean it's the same rivalry with Duncan and Courtney, which oh yeah, I love that too. Which I mean, trust me, yo. I mean, I actually do say what was the better shipping was that I'd say Scott and Don because well, I do see that Scott's always knowing about liking him for animals because I really can see why that he's a farmer boy with him and his brothers, and then with his pappy, which I was been trying to say that in another recording video, which I was trying to say that in a video timeline, or that pretty much was that time, which I was saying that in its and that's timestamp. You know what I was talking about, the timestamp. So that's what I was clearly talking about on that timestamp. So I clearly do say that Don and Scott have both good looking for each other exactly. So I kind of say that I will say is approved. Yes, that's approved. But Scott and Courtney, oh thank you, Lee. No, I say highly no, thank you. I mean, again, Scott can stay in his own territory with Dawn. I mean, Courtney and Gwen are my territory, as my boy Duncan, so clearly I say that it's kind of a bit of a better way of saying that. Which, that's just all I'm saying. I mean, if Scott actually wants to get another one, oh, I mean, he has to enter a Babe Olympics. Which I mean, trust me, I don't know if that's even a real word to say that to that poem, but again, I might look for that later on searching that of saying is the Babe Olympics, which that clearly is a good name for a great idea I never even heard of, which oh yeah, that's a good name. Really good name actually. Really good name, which I'm just saying that's my opinion of me saying this saying is, oh, that's kind of an alright name. So, as in for Dawn, she sees people's auras, which I know it seems to be weird with some people by saying is about their aura, exactly about saying is their movement, or pretty much with their feelings, anger, and other stuff, and all that, yada yada, which I'm not clearly a bit of a fan to of, but I mean, Dawn is at least a very great kind of a person that she always would use to say that she would always speak to animals. She always speaks to animals, creatures, and then pretty much considers like doing some of the stuff like she always would say is that I see in your aura or something like that, that she says in her voice line. Whatever it was to the very beginning episode that she started saying that kind of thing with the aura talk, since I pretty much was a little bit interested for how what she even said there and meant there, but I think she does kind of bit of meditation, which I mean, not gonna lie, I mean, okay, at least Dawn's pretty okay, which I'd say that's pretty alright, which I won't say that she's ever hated her reasonably, but I'd say that's already completely awesome. That's just completely awesome. And then, as in for another fact of the moment, I love the rivalry how Scott and Dawn became a bit of lovers versus enemies. I mean, I suggest picking lovers over than enemies because, I say that if they were ever reversed, then that's fine. I mean, again, that's just what happens before. I mean, relationship be relationship, and it always will be a curse sometimes. But it won't be a curse as long that will be restrained. I think that would have been the case. So I have to say again, like trust me, I always know about love every other time, which I always know about that. So again, I've always go for that experience to say so. But that's all I had to say. But anyways, as for Dawn, she did pretty okay. She did very well as long as she was trying to do pretty alright since she already knows that she does pretty well, but she does her best and does her way of winning the whole amount of the episodes without being kicked out of the island at that point, since I'd say that, she's pretty cool. I mean, she's alright. I'd say that's alright. And as in for the animals, well, clearly or not that she always has a good amount of ability to say anything about animals, since I'm just making guesses, not making hints, I'm just making guesses as I go along with guesses. So, I think that's all I had to say that, well, I gotta give my respective for Dawn that, well, I'm gonna give her an 8 out of 10, since she clearly, I would say, an 8 out of 10, which I'll definitely show you guys another, text, by the way, that I'm going to say is what I might say like versus dislike of me saying the reason of, which I actually will put at the end of the video of me finishing with the 13 contestants. I'll be talking about their names and what they're actually from and about. That's all I'm saying. But, if I were to make my guesses, then that's what I might have to say. So, our next ninth contestant is going to be up next. So, let's get into the ninth contestant. So, let's take a look. All right, so next contestant, that's number 9. So, next contestant I'm going to say about number 9 is that, well, the ninth contestant I'm going to say is Dakota. So, Dakota, well, what can I say, by the way, about her? That she's like a movie star. So, the only explaining that I'm going to have to talk about is her, by the way, that is Dakota, which I mean, Dakota slash Dakotazoid, exactly, whatever that Sam calls her, by the way, because I know about the mutical waste or something, like the waste. Yeah, pretty much that. So, as in for what I'm going to say, by the way, is about Dakota. Alright, so she's a movie star, which I don't blame movie stars sometimes. I'm only going to say that if movie stars were good, not bad. I mean, I'm saying good movie stars, not bad movie stars. Because, I mean, at this point that Dakota is actually a movie star because of her and her daddy, exactly, about, I don't know, just, her trying to, be, all modelly or something, or try to, I don't know, just be a movie star, doing her director roles or something or like that. I mean, pretty much that she's a movie star, and then always tries to involve having paparazzis try to always have photos and shots of her of every angle that she does. And I absolutely love the part when Chef just does something with the paparazzis and just goes bye and literally left. I'm literally am laughing my butt off afterwards. Chef just had to go for a scuba dive and just had to go down there and just has to put a Chris McClain bomb in that boat and just goes like nothing else happened. I laughed at that part, was funny. And then, yeah, I mean, Dakota was an alright character from my part and my perspective, that she was already good. And then, as in for the whole mix together with Dakota and Sam, between gamer and movie star, I mean, I can see two perspectives of saying what are definitely the best ways of having what I'm talking about, the same relationships I'm still talking about as Scott and Dawn, or from Lightning or Joe and Brick, and then holy moly, seriously, there's so many relationships that continues on buying in the Revenge of the Island, which I really am so pretty much a lot more interested by seeing a lot of that. I mean, bro, there has to be lots of that every day. Lots of something new having a different combination. I mean, combination be combination to any day. Since I am actually going to be technically just saying is a gamer and then a movie star in a relationship with each other, which is a Game Boy and then a movie star girl. which I'm not gonna lie, I really say that is pretty well perspective. I mean, I gotta give it to Sam and then Dakota, which I still say that is still pretty cool. I still respect that, but I prefer not picking Harold or Lashana because no thanks. I mean, sorry, I'm just saying no thanks. But I only do love the rivalry with Lashana versus Heather. Like, I'm putting my money for Lashana to fight off Heather any day. But all I'm just saying is that, well, Sam and Dakota actually have like a good relationship going with that. Since, the whole absolutely amazing thing going on with Sam and Dakota, just try to like talk with each other for once in a time, like talking about like, with internet draw or something like some kind of like, something with that they're addicted to by saying is like having their game in their phone exactly while they're in the island. Like the only funny part, I love how Chris says by say was he was gonna say like I was gonna do the impression of Hit, but hold on, let me do it. Anyways, there are no phones and no tablets on the island. Thank you, and please put those in while Chef can have those. Like, I mean, it's funny in a way, in the fact that I'm saying it's funny, but actually saying is that, I mean, they don't get to play some gadgets while they're in the island for that long, since basically it's technically like a 22-minute episode, or just with the show, or 21 minute or something. Like it continues along by with challenges and all that yada yada thing going on with that, since that actually makes more sense. And as I'm going to say from 1 for 10 about Dakota, well, I gotta give it to her as like a 6 out of 10, since I don't have anything to be blamed against her exactly, since she should have probably been focused with the game other than focusing with the paparazzis. I mean, if she continues on with that idea, she just gets kicked out of the island and just literally gets kicked out. So I clearly have no sense of me talking about why that makes no sense for any reason. But I mean, if it was ever challenge time, then put those down and do a challenge time. And if it is over with challenge time, then yes, you may have your game gadget and then your phone back, just like any other time. Like, isn't that hard from camp? Which I mean, there's a lot of ways for talking about like there's a summer camp, like, oh yeah, there's a lot of different rules of like saying there's like restriction rules and then always a lot of that. So just had to say 6 out of 10 for Dakota, or slash Dakota Zoid or something, Dakota Zoid. Yeah, pretty much with 10, I mean with 6 out of 10. Sorry, 6 out of 10. Anyway, next contestant. So here comes the next contestant, which I'm about to talk about. So here we go, and let's get to the next contestant. So let's get to it. All right, so here we are for the next contestant, which will be number 10. So here's the 10th contestant. So again, here's the next contestant, that's Cameron. And oh my god, do I have anything else to explain but that character? Okay, so the character, right? So what I'm going to say about the character is that, no, I'm going to give that character 4 out of 10, because the reason why I don't like Cameron in the show, I'm talking about show, not real life, that's all I'm saying. So the reason why I don't like Cameron that much is because, well, let's just say that he's more of a geek. Another version of Harold and Cody. Like, if it was ever in a mix. Like, I'm just saying that I personally don't like Cameron in his own character of way of talking or whatever that he was doing or whatsoever. I mean, isn't he supposed to be aged? Like, bro, you can literally tell how small he is. Like, you can tell how small Cameron is. Like, how small is he? Like, he looks like a kid. Like, he literally looks like a kid, not a teenager. Like, I really don't expect why this is even literally even a good way to ask that question, which I prefer Lightning over than Cameron, because if I would ever say that if it was ever the final two to battle off each other, just to say that it were to be a battle, I'd say Lightning would win that fight. I'd seriously would doubt that Lightning would seriously win the fight against Cameron any day, because the reason why I prefer picking Lightning, that sometimes always had a man of a good ability, like a strong guy that would always get pretty far all the way to that final big grand, because I prefer picking Lightning to win that moolah of the money, because, well, I see that why Lightning's pretty strong, of a great powerhouse. Like, he's a big football guy that he always will charge at anybody. Like, Seriously, I prefer picking Lightning over than Cameron because that's all I'm saying. Because in season five's Cameron, no, I did not like that character, and bro, it's literally about the age difference. Like, how am I going to explain this question? First off, I don't like the ship of Cameron X Gwen. Like, no, thank you. I'd rather seriously would rather take a leap of faith of freaking jumping off the mountain with the snow to get damaged by any reason than over to see that ship. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care. I literally don't care about Cameron, okay? I just don't care about the character in the show because he reminds me of a geek. Like, literally a pencil nose and a pencil neck. Which I know that Joe already made fun of him for that name, which, oh yeah, I gotta give props for that one since that was kind of funny. Since I say again, I prefer picking Lightning over than Cameron. Yes, I always prefer Lightning picking. I always prefer picking Lightning to be the winner of season four because I prefer him to win the whole thing. That was pretty much it. So yeah. And then as for what I'm going to say that no, I do not like Cameron because the shipping. Well, the reason why I don't like the ship with Cameron X Gwen because, dude, it's the age. Like, how is anybody not okay with that? Like, seriously, I am not alright with that. Like, in season five's Cameron, I don't like that character because it makes me sick. Like, I would have barfed out of my entire intestines to throw it up. Like, seriously. Like, isn't that supposed to be disgusting to anybody? Like, I don't really see what's the big whole difference with this situation going on. Like, I really don't like the way how, that was going on with pretty much with that. Like, no. I don't think Cameron and Gwen ever deserved to be together. Like, no thanks. Like, I mean, preferring to say that Gwen prefers to be with somebody else over than Cameron if there's a different person that is supposed to be absolutely that doesn't look like Cameron. So I do not know what the people were thinking of that idea was supposed to be there. Like, it's disgusting, okay? It's just disgusting, and I would never like that ship. The only ship I'd be okay with is just Duncan X Courtney and Duncan X Gwen. I prefer picking those ships any day. I'd rather pick those two ships. Not Cameron X Gwen. No, thank you. Anyway, so without that being said, of that next contestant with Cameron, well, let's see what we got for the next one of the next contestant. So let's get right ahead and get to that one. So here we go, and let's get to the next one, folks. Let's get to that. All right, so here's the next contestant. That's going to be number 11. So, contestant 11. So, number 11 is Anne Maria. So, about the character, I do have to say that she was actually pretty cool, in my opinion, that about Anne Maria. That she has a tin thick of hair, like thick. I'm talking about thick, like metal hair. Like, I mean, at this point, that I like the character pretty good, and I mean, she has pretty much a thick middle hair, if I'm talking about what I'm saying correctly, is that she literally has to say is, do not touch the hair, which I love that line. Seriously, the line was funny. And it was literally funny as hell by her saying that in that episode or whatever that it was. Seriously, it was funny. I actually will be giving the credit and saying is that it was actually kind of funny in my part of the opinion that it was kind of funny. So, I will say that Anne Maria was pretty funny in her part of the way, that she was actually funny, and then, she was funny, and then I'd have to say what I might have to give it is like, 1 through 10, huh? 1 through 10. Well, if I have to be this honest, I will probably say 8 out of 10 since she did pretty well in her time of the episode. And then, oh yeah, I do kind of love the shipping with Anne Maria and then Vito, which, oh yeah, Vito and Anne Maria. Alright, well, at least that was pretty worth something to watch. At least something at the time, which I was in pretty bit interested of still, of hashtag Mike with personalities, which I don't make fun of personalities, which I don't actually hate that. I'm just saying that it was kind of too much of him doing too much character in his part, but actually shape-shifting too much of the way how he speaks or do the way how he voiced his own characters of his own five top personalities that he does, from whatever. But the only rivalry that I've seen right there was Maria and Zoe. Like, holy goodness, bro! Like, the rivalry was awesome, which I cannot believe what was even funny. The one that was awesome with the person with the thick pants, that was pretty much the next version of Courtney, that is Zoe, or was it to the Middleton hair that was named Amaria? Which, oh boy, I never really seen that rivalry right there, because that rivalry was pretty nice, and I will give it that amount of my respects and my condoned respects that, okay, that rivalry, I gotta give it to it, which I gotta give to that rivalry. Nice. So, anyway, that's all I had to say about the character. So, 8 out of 10 of Anne Maria. So, not bad of the character, though. So, not bad. So, anyway, next contestant, that's going to be number 12. So, I'll be getting to the next contestant. Like, we do have 2 contestants left after when I'm finished. So, again, thanks for pretty much considering watching through, like, 1 all the way through 11. So, yeah, anyways, let's get to number 12 and get right into that. So, yes, we'll get right onto that right ahead. All right. What should I say? All right. Now here comes number 12. That is the next contestant of Toll Drama Island's Revenge. Or should I say Toll Drama Revenge of the Islands character that is named B. And you know what? That name starts with a B? Beverly. Which, I mean, clearly or not, I kind of like B. I mean, I kind of like that name. I mean, that's fine with that name, but Beverly? Oh, that could be like a guy's name or a girl's name, which I was kind of a little bit more like, the heck that name is that? Which, I mean, what the heck is that name? Which I don't actually blame the character if the character is ever silent. Like, okay, well, at least he actually does pretty amount of good words. I think he should have like done like sentencing. I think he should have like sentenced anything, whatever that he doesn't speak at that time. Which, I mean, at that time I was really interested of saying like, ooh, a silent character. Like, okay, a character that's silent. I would be very decently surprised if the character was actually silent, which I never even knew a character that could be silent. Like, okay, I will give props for the way that I would say about the characters, kind of like movement and then like anything else, like the way how that was like whatever the deal with. But hey, I mean, a character that's being silent, that will probably be well due. I mean, well do. Since I would say that the character is kind of like a silent character, but that's not bad. I mean, pretty much like sentencing would be like a great idea. And oh, the funniest thing I never even heard from what Scott was trying to like try to trick Beverly or something like to be another rival. Which, I'd say that like Scott actually like revealed his real name by saying the word Beverly. Like, Jesus God, did you just have to say that real name? Like, okay, well, damn Scott. Like, damn Scotty. Like, okay, well, wow. I really never seen a guy that actually just spoiled his name. Like, the real nickname. That's named B, but into Beverly. Ah, that's why I can say that make it more sense now. Like revealing the name of the real name, how Scott was trying to like do something of that idea and quote with it, which since I already knew how Scott was gonna deal with it, since I was about to like hiccup or something or just like stop talking since again, hiccups have been a problem ever since that's been the case because trust me, when hiccups or whatever it was going to stop my throat or something, then trust me, it's just going to be like the way how it's going to be because I don't know how it's going to never stop because I clearly don't know. I seriously don't. I really don't know. So, as I have to say about the character, well, the silent character, well, I'd be fine with the silent character since I'm going to give him like a 6 out of 10 since I have to say Beverly wasn't a bad amount of a character, so I'd say 6 out of 10 because, the silent way that he talks, like being all silent and stuff, I think preferring a good word for Beverly to do is just be like sentencing or like do science sensing or whatever that I was trying to say. Like, like try to say like try to like get words with him by speaking, like not speaking, like he was gonna like do something with his hands by actually explaining to that word and say to explain anything. So that's all I had to say. Now, as I do say that we're finally about to head to the last one, by the way, the very last contestant, number 13. So, I have to say, wow, 13 contestants in season 4 of Total Drama Revenge of the Island. Like, damn, like, holy moly. Like, okay, like, that there I'm going to give pretty nice. Even if it's not a lot, not enough characters, but it works. It works definitely. It works benefitly. It kind of works. The way I'd say that's kind of works exactly with 13 contestants in the show, which, okay, that's not bad. That's really not bad of an idea, which I'd say is, all right, not bad at all, my friend. Not bad at all. So, gotta give it to it. Just say is not bad at all. I pretty much with 13 contestants. So, think that's all I had to say. There's that 1 through 12, but now that the last one's 13, which I might explain about Brick, which I'll definitely explain about that. It's only a person, not an object. So let's get right into the next one of the last contestant, and then definitely be adding the texts just to let everybody else know about saying is but my status of 1 through 10 exactly about the characters, even if I did said whatever, then who knows. So let's get to the next and last contestant. So let's go. Now, here we are. Last character, number 13, contestant. 1 through 13. That is a military guy. That is Brick. So, the character's name is Brick, the guy from the military. And I mean, a guy for liking pretty much out of war. That the guy pretty much is pretty interested for like for going for war and whatever. Like, I gotta give it to the guy that's Brick, or I don't know if he was ever like a scout soldier, or maybe just like a regular soldier or something like that. But clearly or not, I do say about the character, well, pretty interesting to look at and pretty cool actually. I mean, I don't have anything against like the guy that is like from the military, whatever that he's from, but I mean, gotta say, nice. As long as that he kind of like does pretty well with the salute, I'm actually pretty all right with a salute because militaries like that. Oh yes, I'd say that is pretty nice to be supporting of. Just saying like there's like some kind of way that I think that the character's pretty all right. That's named Brick, but the only part I didn't like the guy was doing exactly was him peeing his pants while he was being scared of something. That had to be a scary challenge that Brick didn't even handle pretty well, or should I say that he didn't have to deal with anything, since if he would have not pissed his pants, then things would have not gone that way in that route. And about the arm dislocated, jeez, like, since when did his arm ever get dislocated? Like, oh my god, that is just scary. Like, okay, the arm dislocated thing, that's just not going to be enough, not to be a good thing to do, since if anybody were ever to, like, break someone's arm and get it dislocated, I mean, there's no way coming back from being dislocated of an arm dislocated damage, which I don't know how that would work. I mean, there's only different ways to restrain the arm exactly without being dislocated. Is one, don't do that. By the way, just don't dislocate your arm. If you actually do dislocate your arm, by the way, then it's gonna be a difficult way to get out of. Since I know that there's gonna be a lot of dislocated parts exactly if some of them weren't restrained to be the way it was. Which, the arm thing about being dislocated the arm is just a no-no of being a bit of damage. So I kind of prefer saying a bit of a no-no. And I'm actually going to say that even if it's a longer video of me talking about, like, going on with me talking about its characters and its names, since best to say that I'm only talking about its characters and its names. But yeah, all I gotta say is I'm just making guesses as I'm going with the guesses and just having my opinion talked on this exactly a little bit. But, just saying how the characters are good and just say if some of them are good or bad. Which, at the end of the day, the texts, by the way, I'll be adding soon, is just right now, I'll be adding at the end. I was saying is, however, I'll be liking the characters in my own way, how I would prefer picking some of them are good and some of them are bad. Which, if I do say, like, from one area from 5 or then 6 from 10, that's what that's going to be leaded on. So that's all I'm going to have to say for what's my very way of me talking about that, because you guys can still look to the reasoning why I've said that. I won't be talking about reason on its text. I only will be talking about 1 through 10 of its characters to see how good they did, or did a very good job at a time that they did super well of succeeding, of most times without being kicked off the show, and did pretty well to stay in surviving for the longest route of the way, how it made pretty much more sense to me since they could have been more close. Anyway, so Brick, I gotta give to the guy, well, he is gonna definitely be a 9 out of 10, or should I say 10 of 10 or whatever, but I think the guy is actually pretty good. The guy was pretty good, but I just don't like the part where he pissed his pants, before the lights went flickered, exactly before they flickered being off, since I didn't like the way that happened. But, if he was born to be a piss wetter or whatever, then chances are then that's pretty much how everyone actually reacts or whatever, that for a reason, by seeing as having like blinded control or whatever, but that's just like a different thing by utter reason of experience, or what reason that is. So I gotta say, well, not bad as much of the character that's named Brick, but I'd say that's not bad as a person, but okay, fair enough. And man, I do wonder why whoever actually named that person to be that specific name that is like a name. Just a person, not a wall or something, but an interesting name that I may actually prefer liking. So, as and without that being said, I hope you guys consider enjoying this video of during that. But anyway, I'll pretty much just talk through a little bit about that and then just like add the texts. So anyway, let's just jump into the very last of the conclusion, and that's when I'm going to be leaving. And then yeah, that's all I would have to say. So please do it. Let's get right ahead to it. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the long video. So again, just want to let you guys know, even if it was a longer video, then that's fine, since again, that's all I had to say. And yeah, so thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give this one a like, comment, subscribe, the bell, be notified. And also guys, by the way, if you guys actually liked my idea of how I was talking, then just to let you guys know that I prefer Lightning for him to win the whole thing. So I prefer picking Lightning, even though that I might actually say that I will be similar to medium dislike most characters, and say some of them are great and some of them are bad. But I just say that there will be like a similar way of me speaking of how I would talk about like what I might say about the show and what about its characters, that it was pretty bit and pretty bit much explorational. Then that's all I might have to say about like its reasoning. So all I have to say is hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to give this one a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, so that way that you guys will not miss a single video that comes on this channel. So I appreciate the effort, and I appreciate you guys listening to this. So hope you guys actually truly understand is that I hope you guys enjoyed the revealing of its characters. And then yeah, I might just have to add the names on the titles anyway. Just have to add the names on the, what I'm talking about with texts that I might be adding. So just without that being said, is that yes, I'll be pretty much be adding those up. And then also just want to let you guys know is that no, I will not, and I will not be reacting to its episodes of Total Drama Revenge of the Island, and then the Sucky All Stars, which I'm not reacting to. So just remember that I'm actually saying is that it's a big no. So I just want to let you guys know I prefer not taking the risk of me doing with that. So just want to let you guys know is that I'm not reacting to all of its series of Total Drama, which I'm not. So as and without that being said, I'm only just saying is that I prefer picking the names of like the next one that was kind of delayed, since I prefer picking the whatever I was going to deal with here. So anyways, without that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the long video. So I know it's going to be a long video, which I kind of get the point of it. So if you guys actually enjoyed the longer video, then why not? So be sure to give this video a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, be notified. And without that being said, I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys in the next video or so, or whatever I might have to deal with. So thank you all very much for watching, and thanks for enjoying the show of me talking about like revealing its season four's names of the characters and then whatever. So without it being said, thank you, have a great day, and I'll be sure to see you all in the next video. And without that being said, everyone, my name is Yosemite Sam, the Smartass Cowboy speaking, like going for like 1 through 13 of the contestants of Total Drama Revenge of the Island. So without that being said, again, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye everyone, take care, have a great time, and I'll be sure to see you all in the next video. And don't worry, there'll be a lot of things coming along by any soon with like ones or twos and then maybe threes, I think. Whenever I decide like changing another number again or whatever. But again, always going to be a little bit slow. But anyway, with that being said, again, I'll see you soon next time. And oh yes, one more thing is that I'll be talking about is that yes, Chris and Chef were still in the same thing in the same seasons as 1, 2, and 3. So yes, I gotta say that Chris was doing pretty okay in season 4, which even though that the teams were definitely called by Kimiko Toxic of Waste, exactly like there were two teams named by the Toxic Rats, and then of course with Mutant Maggots exactly, which those are two teams exactly that Chris officially ordered exactly those two official names that are supposed to be referencing about the Toxic Waste, about saying like there's like some waste going there. So that's just pretty much how that was referenced and said so. And as in for Chef, oh, he was pretty all right. I mean, he still stayed the way that he was doing, but I mean, clearly or not, then, that's just pretty much how that turned out, by the way. So that's how that turned it out. Anyway, so without that being said, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And then as in for like the new interns, well, I was surprised actually. I never seen Chris had officially ordered interns. Like I never seen him do it. Like I mean, okay, I really never seen him do it like from 1 and 2. But now until 3, oh snap. He literally officially got like interns in season 3, but now he's officially gotten some of them in season 4 that were different of those, interns that were in season 4. That the ones that they had to wear red. Red and pretty much like teenagers, like, I think that's what they were kind of looked like as like interns that I was talking about. So, yeah, you know what I'm understanding about. So, without it being said, everyone, I hope you guys have a great day. So, one more last time is be sure to give this video a like, comment, subscribe with the bell, be notified. And as of without that being said, well, here are the texts, everyone. Here are the texts that I will show you in the end of the video while it's finished. So, thank you. Have a great day. And with that being said, if you guys are wanting to be if you guys are a new person to the channel, totally subscribe to my main channel and my separates, and also be a true Devin-Foxy fan, and also become a true Devin-Foxy fan, a real Devin-Foxy fan that isn't a fake who would backstab me in the back. So be sure that we always a true Devin-Foxy fan who has guts, real guts. So, honestly, again, I'll see you soon in the next video, and thank you for once and again. I'll see you guys in the next video. And with that being said, and also one more time, I will not react to Total Drama's seasons of its episodes and clearly spin-offs. It still makes it a no. So please be sure it makes it a big fat NO. Means no. I will not do it, and I will not react to its episodes and seasons, and that's it. So, without that being said, hopefully you guys understand that I'm just saying what I'm saying is thank you for understanding. And without that being said, is that in the end of the day, lightning still wins the thing, so lightning will win. So I'd say that lightning still wins. So with all that being said here, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and see you next time. So like, comment, subscribe, the bell, be notified, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.